dear children. I am Swaranjit Kaur, and in this video we will study about the following topics in detail. Our first topic is flow of electrons between the conductors. Let us understand the concept of flow of electrons between two conductors with the help of following examples. In example 1, a positively charged conductor A is joined with an uncharged conductor B with a metal wire. Now electrons move from uncharged conductor B to charged conductor A to balance the deficit of electrons in the conductor A. This movement of electrons from conductor B to conductor A continues till both the conductors have equal concentration of electrons, or you can say that both the conductors acquire the same charge. Now in example 2, a negatively charged conductor A is joined with an uncharged conductor B with a metal wire. You know that a negatively charged conductor has excess of electrons. So when a negatively charged conductor is joined with an uncharged conductor, electrons from conductor A will flow to the uncharged conductor till both the conductors have equal concentration of electrons. In example 3, we have two conductors. Conductor A is negatively charged and conductor B is positively charged. Electrons flow from the negatively charged conductor A to the positively charged conductor B to balance the deficit of electrons in the conductor B. This flow of electrons continues till there is equal concentration of electrons in both the conductors. So from all the three examples, what we conclude that the flow of electrons continues till both the conductors acquire the same charge, or till both the conductors have equal concentration of electrons on them. Now the question arises, is it possible to maintain the flow of electrons for a longer period of time? The answer is definitely yes. It can be maintained with the help of an electric cell. You know that an electric cell consists of two electrodes dipped in a solution of electrolyte. One electrode has excess of electrons and is called cathode. The other electrode is deficit of electrons and is called anode. When a conductor is connected with an electric cell works as a source of electrons, and there is a continuous flow of electrons in the external circuit connected with the cell in the direction from cathode to anode. Next, direction of electric current, conventional and electronic flow. It is our common experience that if a body is released from a height, the body always falls from greater height to smaller height. That is, from higher gravitational potential to lower gravitational potential. You have also read that if two bodies at different temperatures are kept in contact, heat flows from body at higher temperature to a body at lower temperature till both the bodies acquire the same temperature. After that, the flow of heat stops. Similarly, if two vessels containing water up to different levels are joined together, water flows from vessel A to vessel B, that is from higher pressure to lower pressure, till the level of water in both the vessels becomes the same, that is the pressure in both the vessels becomes the same. In a similar manner, when two charged conductors are joined by a metal wire, the direction of flow of electrons is determined by a quantity called potential. A body having excess of electrons is said to be at lower potential or negative potential. A body having deficit of electrons is said to be at higher potential or positive potential. In this figure, you can say that the conductor A is at higher potential and conductor B is at lower potential. When we join these two conductors with a metal wire, the electrons flow from B to A, that is from lower potential to higher potential, which is just opposite to the previous examples which we have studied, where the flow is always from high to low. That is, from higher water flows from higher pressure to lower pressure, heat flows from higher temperature to lower temperature, body falls from greater height to smaller height. But in case of current, it flows from lower potential to higher potential, because current is the flow of electrons. As electrons flows from B to A, that is from lower potential to higher potential, it means that current also flows from lower potential to higher potential. Now, in keeping with the convention of flow from higher to lower level, we say that the electric current flows from higher potential to lower potential, that is in a direction opposite to the direction of flow of electrons. Now, if I ask you what is the direction of current, the answer is conventionally the direction of current is from positive terminal of the cell to negative terminal of the cell. Next, what is electric potential? Electric potential is defined as the amount of work done in carrying a charge from infinity to a point inside the field. Let A be the point inside the field. So if W is the work done in bringing a charge Q from infinity to a point A inside the field, then potential is given by the formula V is equal to work done upon charge. Potential is a scalar quantity. Its SI unit is joule per coulomb, because SI unit of work is joule and SI unit of charge is coulomb. So SI unit of potential is joule per coulomb or volt. Next, potential difference. Potential difference is defined as the amount of work done in carrying a unit positive charge from one point to another in an electric field. If W is the work done in transferring a unit positive charge from point B to A inside the field, then potential difference is given by the formula VA minus VB is equal to W upon Q. Potential difference is a scalar quantity. The SI unit of potential difference is volt. It is due to this potential difference current flows in a conductor. Next, resistance. The obstruction offered by a conductor to the flow of electrons is called electrical resistance. What is the cause of resistance? We know that a metallic wire consists of fixed positive ions and large number of free electrons. The free electrons are randomly moving inside the metal in any direction. Hence, the net current inside the conductor or a wire is equal to 0. But when this conductor is connected with the cell, all the electrons start flowing from negative terminal of the cell to the positive terminal of the cell. All the electrons, they start moving in one particular direction. During their movement, they collide with the fixed positive ions and other free electrons of the wire, due to which their speed decreases and their direction of motion also changes. After each collision, they again accelerate towards the positive terminal and suffer collisions with other positive ions and free electrons. This process continues till the electrons reaches the positive terminal of the battery. This is how a wire or a conductor offers resistance to the flow of electrons through it. Next, Ohm's law. Ohm's law states that current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference applied across the ends of the conductor provided its temperature is constant. That is, I is directly proportional to V or V is directly proportional to I. We will remove the sign of proportionality and write constant R. So V is equal to IR, where R is called the resistance of the conductor. So R is equal to V upon I. R is a scalar quantity. Unit of resistance, we know that R is equal to V upon I. SI unit of potential difference is volt. SI unit of current is ampere. So SI unit of resistance is volt per ampere, which is equal to ohm, denoted by the symbol omega. Factors affecting the resistance of a conductor. First one, material of wire. We know that the resistance of a wire depends on the number of collisions which an electron suffers while moving from one end of the conductor to the other end. Now in different materials, the concentration of electrons and the arrangement of atoms are different, due to which different materials offer different resistance depending on the concentration of free electrons and the arrangement of fixed positive ions in the conductor or wire. Good conductors having higher concentration of free electrons offers less resistance. Second, length of the wire. More the length of the wire, more will be the number of collisions suffered by the moving electrons, because they have to travel a longer distance in a wire. Therefore, the resistance of the wire is directly proportional to the length of the wire. Third one, the area of cross section of wire. In a thick wire, electrons get a larger area of cross section to flow as compared to thin wire. Therefore, a thick wire offers less resistance. That is, resistance of wire is inversely proportional to the area of cross section of the wire. Fourth one is temperature. If the temperature of the wire increases, the positive ions will vibrate violently. As a result, the number of collision increases and hence the resistance of the wire increases. It means that resistance of the wire increases with the increase in the temperature. Numericals. First one. In transferring 1.5 coulomb charge through a wire, 9 joule of work is needed. Find the potential difference across the wire. So in this question, charge is given 1.5 coulomb and work done is 9 joule. We know that potential difference is given by the formula W upon Q. So V is equal to 9 upon 1.5, which is equal to 6 volt. Next, a cell of potential difference 12 volt is connected to a bulb. The resistance of the filament of bulb when it glows is 24 ohm. Find the current drawn from the cell. So in this numerical, potential difference V is equal to 12 volt. Resistance R is equal to 24 ohm. Therefore, current is equal to V upon R. So I is equal to 12 upon 24, which is equal to 0.5 ampere. Next question. A bulb draws a current of 1.5 ampere at 6 volt. Find the resistance of filament of the bulb while glowing. So here I is equal to 1.5 ampere, V is equal to 6 volt. We know that V is equal to IR. So R is equal to V upon I, which is equal to 6 upon 1.5 is equal to 4 ohm.